everybody. You've seen the review video I did a while back of the Badger 16-inch battery-powered chainsaw. Well, Badger liked that video. They asked me if I'd want to do something else, and they sent me this Wild Badger Power 4-in-1 multi-tool, basically battery-powered weed eater. And it has, twist and load trimmer head. It has an 8-inch chainsaw blade pole extension. It has a 165-degree rotating hedge trimmer attachment. And then you've got your actual body, weed eater body with the handle. It uses 2 batteries. It's got an ergonomic trigger. It's got a loop handle and a universal connection point for these 3 attachments. Trimmer attachment, power or post saw attachment, hedge trimmer, and there's the body. And what we're going to do, this is still wrapped in plastic. I haven't even got it out yet. So I'm going to cut the plastic off. We're going to get it out of here. Looking on the box here, it's got a brush cutting blade that's included, so you can remove the string trimmer off and put this brush cutter blade on. It has 2 4-amp-hour batteries included. It's got a 2-amp fast charger included. Charges batteries in about 120 minutes. I think that's both batteries, but I think you can only charge 1 battery at a time. So let me get you off the tripod and I'll show you what's in the box. Okay, here's what's in the box. You got several boxes. You got packing material. There's the instruction manual, a tool, a strap. There's the head for the weed eater, the guard. There's the handle. And let's see what we have here in this box. And I apologize if the camera's kind of shaky because I'm holding it. This is your charger. And like I said, 1 battery at a time. Okay, so we have the charger. Let's see what's in this box. Looking at the size of it, that is your battery. Let's get the battery out. Badger. Let's see how much charge, if any. Okay, as you can see, it's got 3 of those LEDs lit up, so I really need to charge the batteries. Here's the other one. Check it. Yep, 3 LEDs lit up. Okay. There is the brush cutting blade that you would put on, take off the string trimmer. This box here gotta have the knife. I didn't mean to damage the box that it was packed in. There is the pole. And I'm sorry that I'm moving the camera around so much, but my hands are full. This is your hedge trimmer. Attaches to this pole here. That's the pole. Attaches to this end. Attaches to this end. Okay. And it's got guards over the teeth. As is nice. Protect those teeth. I'm going to set this over here along with the pole for it. Get some of this material out of the way. This here is the actual weed eater. Sorry about all this moving around. I'm the only cameraman here. But this is your weed eater. One battery goes on this side, one goes on this side. This is your push button, safety. It won't work unless you squeeze the trigger. And then when you're holding the trigger, it stays in until you let it out. This would be where your strap would hook to. And this is where all your attachments hook to. So we'll get into that here in just a little bit. And that's just a packaging box. This here, I am sure, is just the weed eater end of it. Yes, this is the weed eater end. Okay, we'll leave that there. And I think that was the cover for the weed eater part. Okay, and then this here is the pole saw. Don't want to drop nothing. It's got an oiler. Just a empty plastic bag. Here's your chain, your guard, and there's your bar. So for yard work, farm work, working around, yes, you could take this even into the woods with you. I'll get this off, this box off, and we'll start putting this together. Okay, this here is your chainsaw. This here is the weed eater. This is the main head unit. And that's the hedge trimmer. So we have all this here. There's your brush bar, which would go with this. There's your handle. Now we'll get into the meat of this. We'll see what all's in the bag. If I can figure out how to get it open. There we go. There's your strap. It hooks to the handle. There's your batteries. There's the weed eater head, and look, it already comes with twine attached. This is some Allen wrenches, and everybody knows a chainsaw tool. At least that's what I call it. You've got 2 different size Allen wrenches, okay? And this is what I call the chainsaw tool. We're real familiar with it for tightening your bar, taking out your spark plug, whatever the case may be. Then, of course, here is your manual for everything. Thank you for your purchase. If you need support to get up and running, email our customer support team. They give you their email address, and they have several social media scan me QR codes on the back, on the front. And then here is the manual. Cutting diameter of line is 13 inches. Cutting line diameter is 0.08 inches. So if you got to go buy a new line, you got to get to 0.08. Cutting line length, 13.2 feet. I guess that's whenever you pull it out, you want to pull out about 13 feet to wind up in that spool. Maximum speed grass trimmer minimum is 5,500. Doesn't say if it's RPMs, I'm sure that's what it is. Cutting diameter of the brush cutter. And the brush cutter is this right here. You would take your head off, put that on. 10-inch cutter blade thickness is 0.06 inches. Teeth quantity is 3. It's got 3 teeth, as you can see, and it's got a guard over it. That's nice. Maximum speed 5,500. Cutting data for the Hedge trimmer. Right here, and I noticed on this Hedge trimmer, it's got grease fittings. One here, one here. Here's some Allen head adjustments. That's for putting the pole in. And it does have a thumb release right here. Since I don't have it on pole, it's kind of hard to work, but this thing can be angled. You can see the teeth here. You can angle this up, straight out. But the specs on it, angle adjustment, minus 75 degrees to minus 90 degrees, 12 positions, okay? Cutting length 16 inches, maximum cut speed, maximum minimum 1,200. Okay, now for the pole saw right here, cutting length is 8 inches. The guide bar type is AM08-33-507P-2. Saw chain type is E50-SL-33. The chain pitch is 3/8 of an inch, and the oil tank volume is 180. So that's for your bar oil. Gives you all the safety warnings in the manual, parts description right here. Now it goes into the assembly instructions, so that's what we're going to get to now. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. I'm going to assemble the weed eater first, and then get to the hedge trimmer. Show you how I'll get the hedge trimmer put together on its pole, the saw on its pole, and show you how you can change all the different devices on it. So we'll be right back. Okay, for some of this I think I better show you. I'm getting ready to attach the guard, and you have to pull this. There's a certain place it sets. Okay, you have to pull. This is on, you have to take your nut off, pull this off, lay it to the side, pull this. There's actually 2 pieces here. I just pull them both together. There is a washer, which I'm leaving down in there, okay? But there are 3 Allen head screws that you have to take off. It's got washers and lock washers on them. So I'm gonna take these off. I've already broke them loose. You take this off. That's so you can install the guard. And I I see it needs to have a little bit of trim work done. There's some excess plastic left. So I just take my knife and shave that plastic off. Leave that out just in case I need it. And you set this whichever way you're going to be using the weed eater, just like so. Put this back on, line up your holes, and start your screws back in. Get that one kind of snugged up. Grab the other one. Get it down in the hole. Make sure you get it started good so you don't cross thread. And then get the last one. Get it in, get it snugged up. Make sure you snug those up real good. You'd hate for this to come loose while you're cutting, trimming your grass. Now I know it's going to be hard to see, but I'm going to try to show this. On this ring, you have a hole here that your Allen wrench will go into. This is to lock this in position when I go to tighten the nut to hold the head on. So the washer's down in there. I'm putting these two pieces, and you'll see there's a notch right here. You gotta line that notch up with that hole. So I think the nut and this goes with the brush cutting blade. These other two pieces go on. You put your Allen wrench in the hole and into there so this won't turn. I think it is, yeah. When putting the head on, you got to go left with it to tighten. And once you get it good and tight, pull that out. Now the head's attached. Okay, after a few little glitches that I should have put all this together, took it apart, but I am putting the batteries in, and I've got the head on right, the way it's supposed to be. Got the handle on it. Hopefully you can see all this. I've got the handle on it, got the strap, got it adjusted to me. This part here is like a kickstand, so when you put the weed eater down, it don't roll over on its side. But I've got some, really don't have any grass. I've got some wild onions, but I'm gonna push the trigger. So you can see how well that cuts. It's doing the job, and it, you know, this doesn't feel as heavy as my Husky that I have that I cut with, even though it's got these two batteries on it. And you just push that trigger or that lock button right there, and you can let go of it. And now it's locked unless I push that in, hold it, so I squeeze the trigger, and then I can let go of it and keep my trigger pulled. So after I got the guard on correctly the way it was supposed to be, this works great. Now the next thing is the saw. Okay, I'm gonna put the saw together. And like I said, we all know this is a chainsaw saw. One little tip I will give you, these ends that I took off putting the weed eater on, when you take your attachment off to put on, let's say the chainsaw, you can see this here, which this was the weed eater. You got to pull that off. You want to save those. So when you're storing, say you're not going to use the saw, you're not going to use the hedge trimmer, you save these to put back over it. I'm going to leave that one on for now. I'm going to take the chainsaw tool, take the nut off and the cover. I've got the bar here, which will go on here. There's a self adjuster right here. Use a straight screwdriver. This end here to adjust the tension. Goes on just like so. But before we get that on, we got to get this chain out. And if you've messed with any chainsaws, you got to make sure that you get this in the right, that it's going in the right direction. And the manual shows you how to make sure it's in the right direction. Okay, now it's on the right direction. You get it lined up with your adjuster. Get your teeth in these cogs. It's on the gear here. Put that on, the cover, put the nut back on. And I don't want to snug it up yet, because one, I want to see how tight the chain is, and I may have to adjust. You just barely want to see any teeth. There's the Chester. I can feel some tension as I'm tightening up this adjustment screw. I think that'll do it. It's going to tighten up a little more when I tighten this anyway. And it's got a little bit of slag in it. So I think that's going to be good. And then we got to get some oil put in it. And I have some, I just got to go get it. But now that's on, I'm not going to use it. Save that for down at the farm. You put the guard on to protect the teeth. And I'll show you, I do apologize for the dog barking, how easy this is to change. Okay. I should take the batteries out. So I don't have any power. Now on this chain, taking off the weed eater part first, you unloosen this nut. And then over here on the side, you will see there's a pull up, and you turn to the left and twist, and it comes out. Now, like I said, you're going to store this, you got to put that cap over it to protect it. Okay, now you take the chainsaw bar, pull that rubber cap off, and that's something else. Like if you was going to store this just like this, the plug that went in here, you want to put that plug back in. That keeps any dirt, bugs, anything from getting in it. But you take your chainsaw, and there's a hole right here that will line up with this. You put this in. Now it's locked in. That's how easy it is to change those. Now you got that on there, got that tightened down. And now you have pole saw. You know, you sit there and reach up. I know you can't see that in the frame. So I'd come down here, you reach up, cut your limbs, prune in your yard. Now I'll get the hedge trimmer part put together. We're going to put the hedge trimmer part on now. Somebody might say, which end? Well, this end has the hole that goes into the weed eater. This is the end that will go into the hedge trimmer. And if you look at the hedge trimmer, there's one of those plugs. I'm going to pull it out. And you will see, if you can, there's some gears up in there, or a gear, teeth, that spline has to go into. Now there is a hole there, and it lines up with this Allen head screw. So when you get that, I'm going to take one of your crescent wrenches, or you can do it by hand first till you find that hole. There we go. It's a little feel. You have to feel for it. And it's got a lock washer on it. You tighten that down, and it's done. Now the other Allen wrench or other bolt, that's just for extra precaution. Tighten that down. And really and truthfully, once you get this done, you should never have to take that back off. Like I said, this has got a thumb release and a handle right here. Oh, you got to squeeze them both. And you can tilt this thing like I just did. There's two here you got to squeeze. You don't have to hold them both, but this is the safety like. You squeeze that and you can squeeze that one, and then you can turn whichever way you want it. Okay, so you can see how I've got that turned. And then to go back, squeeze this. You can see the mechanism right there. You can see it comes undone. Squeeze that. And we're back to this. If you were doing some hedges, holding up high, I know you probably can't see it in the frame, but up high like this, the weed eater's down here. But I'll attach some of these to it so you can see how it looks. Well, I've already done the pole saw. Okay, I took the rubber boot off. Again, save all this. I'm going to attach this in here. Once it's in there, that's locked into place. Lock that down. Hook your strap up. I like this quick release. So there you go with the hedge trimmer head on. If you had hedges up here like this, you could be doing that. You could tilt the the head. It's easier doing it with your left hand than it is your right hand. Now you can hold it up like that, trim, so you're not holding it up like this. You can hold it like that and trim. So this is going to be a very great, useful tool around the home. This type of tool comes in handy. And now here's your batteries. Here's your battery charger with instructions, tools, Allen wrenches, chainsaw tool. You've got your brush cutting blade with the cap and the nut that has to go on. You have your weed eater attachment and you have your chainsaw attachment. So right here, when it's all said and done, you have 4 tools in one. Battery powered. So like I said, it's a little bit lighter than carrying a Husqvarna or a Craftsman that uses the fuel mix. Just remember that on the Hedge trimmer specifically, it has grease fittings, 2 of them, that you'll have to pump some grease in before you use this the first time. Okay, I'm testing the Wild Badger Hedge trimmer, and I've adjusted by squeezing the bottom trigger on this handle and the top to adjust the angle. And I'm going to be trimming out these old briars, I hope. So I'm going to give it a try. Okay, it made short work of the, those are actually rose bushes, not just briars. But using the Hedge trimmer, some of that stuff was a little bit thicker than what this probably should do, but it did it anyway. So that's the Hedge trimmer part. The next clip will be me using the pole saw on trimming some limbs. So we'll see you on the next clip. That should do it. I want to thank Badger for sending this to us. And I'm going to take it down to the farm. And I'm going to give it a trial run down there. Be some video clips of that here in this. But we appreciate everybody watching. J&J True Outdoor Adventures. Please like, comment, subscribe. And it was fun to see. We'll see you in the woods. Thanks for watching.